All right, this is the story of St. Anthony's Gift. It's another Italian folk tale from the collection by Italo Calvino. Once on the earth there was no fire, none at all, and men were very cold. And so they went out to St. Anthony in the desert and they said, "Help us out, please. The cold is just unbearable." And St. Anthony, moved by pity, decided to help them. And since the only fire that existed anywhere was in hell, he decided to go down to hell and get fire for man. Now, before he was a hermit, St. Anthony was a shepherd, and he had this very little piglet, which was his special favorite and was his constant companion, stayed with him even out in the desert. So St. Anthony took his fennel staff and his piglet, and he walked all the way to hell. And he banged on the gates of hell, and he said, "Let me in. I'm cold and I want to warm up." And the devils peered out over the top of the gate, and they recognized him and saw the halo. And they said, "No, you can't come in. Not you. It's some sort of a trick. We know this. We know this trick." Okay? St. Anthony says, "No, really, I'm just an old man and I'm cold. I want to come in and warm up. Please let me in." So the devils mutter to each other for a bit. One of them leans over the top of the gate and says, "The pig can come in, but you have to stay outside." Okay, so the gate creaks open just a tiny bit, wide enough for the pig to enter. St. Anthony sits down on the doorstep of hell with his staff across his knees and waits. As soon as the pig gets inside of hell, he just starts tearing the place up. He's running back and forth, rooting against everything, knocking over racks of torture implements, upsetting cauldrons of boiling oil, just making a mess. Scattering paperwork everywhere, right? Just bureaucracy in hell. So the devils have to stop what they're doing and chase him around, but they can't catch him. He's too fast for them. So, making a tremendous racket. Eventually, one of the devils calls over the gate to St. Anthony. He says, "Come in here and get control of your pig." Right? He's making a mess in hell. So they open the door. St. Anthony comes in with his staff. He taps the pig on the back with his staff. The pig quiets down, heals, just sits right at his feet. St. Anthony says, "Well, since I'm here, I may as well get warmed up." Okay? And he sits himself down on a sack of cork and starts warming his hands by one of the fires. Okay? The devils say, "Fine, keep that pig under control. As soon as we're done cleaning up, both of you are out of here." Okay? So the devils are running around, picking up all the things that have been knocked over, refilling the cauldrons of oil, picking up all the damned paperwork. Okay? There you go. And every time a devil runs by St. Anthony where he's sitting, messengers say, with a message about, a soul that's just fallen into perdition, he'll wax him on the back with his staff. Right? "Cut that out." Okay, and they go on, business goes on. Another one runs by, putting some thumb screws back on the wall. Whack! "Stop that, or you're not going to like what happens to you," they say. But finally, there's another devil coming running by with a stack full of papers. He says, "Lucifer, here's all the seminarian files you were asking for." St. Anthony sticks his staff out and trips it. Okay, all the paperwork is flying everywhere. Okay, so finally, the deputy assistant regional manager of this quadrant of hell, okay, so this is bureaucracy, right? That's why it's hell. Comes up and he says, "We've had enough of this. You're making a mess with this stick. Now we're going to burn it." He grabs the fennel staff away from St. Anthony and thrusts it into the fire. Okay. The minute this happens, the pig starts cutting up again. It's running around, knocking all the things over, scattering the papers that have been just put back into, just been alphabetized again. So, and everybody's running around. So finally they say, "Get out, get control of your pig and get out of here." And St. Anthony says, "If you want me to control the pig, you've got to give me back my staff." So fine, they say here. They put it into his hands. He taps the pig on the back with the fennel staff. Pig calms down. They say, "Out now." So he walks out, hanging his head. All right, it's so cold out here. So he walks out through the gates of hell with his pig and his fennel staff. Now, fennel wood is very porous, and it happens that if a spark or a cinder gets inside of a stick of fennel, it can smolder there for a long time without producing smoke or any outward sign of fire. So what the devils didn't know was that St. Anthony was carrying fire inside of his staff when they kicked him out. Okay, so he and the pig hike all the way back to Earth. When he gets back to Earth, he breaks the staff over his knee and dumps out all of the cinders onto the ground, and men are able to light their fires from that and be warm. And then St. Anthony goes back to the desert to meditate. So that's the story of how St. Anthony brought fire out of hell for the benefit of mankind.